Overthinking doesn't feel loud, it feels endless. A quiet loop that plays behind your eyes, rewinding conversations, rehearsing outcomes, questioning decisions. You're not running, but your mind is. And the more you try to stop it, the faster it spins. In 2025, this has become a global pattern. With constant digital stimulation, decision fatigue, and social comparison, our minds are rarely still. But stillness isn't a luxury, it's a skill. And learning how to quiet your thoughts may be the most powerful thing you ever do. This isn't about ignoring your mind, it's about guiding it. So let's explore how to stop overthinking, not by force, but by practice. Chapter 1. The Thought Spiral. Overthinking begins with a spark, a comment, a choice, a moment of uncertainty, and then it spirals. You replay what you said. You imagine what they meant. You try to predict what will happen next. This spiral activates the brain's default mode network, the part responsible for self-referential thinking. It's useful for reflection, but when left unchecked, it becomes a loop. Studies from Yale University show that excessive activity in this network is linked to anxiety and rumination. So what can you do? You interrupt the spiral with presence. When you feel your thoughts looping, pause. Name what's happening. Say, I'm spiraling. This act of labeling engages the prefrontal cortex, the brain's decision-making center, and reduces emotional reactivity. Mindfulness research from UCLA confirms that naming a thought reduces its grip. It's called affect labeling, and it's one of the simplest ways to regain control. You don't have to silence the mind, you just have to step outside the loop. Chapter 2. The Pause Principle. Stillness isn't the absence of thought, it's the space between them, and that space begins with a pause. When your mind races, your breath shortens, your body tenses, your nervous system shifts into fight or flight. But when you pause, even for a few seconds, you activate the parasympathetic system, the body's natural brake pedal. One of the most effective ways to pause is through breath. Slow, intentional breathing lowers cortisol, reduces heart rate, and restores clarity. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that just 5 minutes of paced breathing significantly reduced anxiety and improved cognitive control. Try this. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, repeat. This rhythm calms the body and slows the mind. You're not trying to escape your thoughts. You're creating space around them. And in that space, clarity returns. Chapter 3. The Power of Naming. Thoughts lose power when they're named. When you say, this is worry, or this is fear, you shift from being inside the thought to observing it. This is the foundation of mindfulness. You become the witness, not the prisoner. Neuroscience shows that this shift activates the insula, the part of the brain responsible for self-awareness, and reduces activity in the amygdala, which governs fear. In daily life, this means catching yourself mid-loop and saying, I'm overthinking, not with judgment, but with curiosity. You can even write it down. Journaling has been shown to reduce rumination and improve emotional regulation. A 2023 meta-analysis in Clinical Psychology Review found that expressive writing lowered anxiety and increased problem-solving ability. So when your mind feels crowded, grab a pen. Write what you're thinking. Don't edit, don't analyze, just release. Naming is not weakness, it's awareness, and awareness is the first step toward peace. Chapter 4. Rituals that quiet the mind. Overthinking thrives in chaos. It feeds on unpredictability, clutter, and noise. That's why rituals matter. They create rhythm. They signal safety. They tell the brain, you're okay now. One powerful ritual is the mental sunset. At the end of the day, instead of scrolling or working late, you create a boundary. You dim the lights. You put your phone away. You breathe. You reflect. This transition helps the brain shift from beta waves, associated with active thinking, to alpha waves, which support relaxation and creativity. Sleep researchers at Stanford found that people who practiced evening wind-down rituals fell asleep faster and experienced fewer intrusive thoughts. Another ritual is movement. Walking, stretching, or yoga helps discharge mental energy. When the body moves, the mind settles. A study in Nature Mental Health showed that even 15 minutes of walking in nature reduced overthinking and improved mood. And then there's silence. Not just the absence of sound, but intentional quiet. Sitting without input, no music, no screens, just breath and space. These rituals aren't escapes, they're invitations. Invitations to return to yourself. Chapter 5. The Aura of Clarity. When your mind is still, your presence changes. You speak slower. You listen deeper. You move with intention. This is the aura of clarity. People feel it. They trust it. Because it's rare. In a world of noise, stillness stands out. Psychologists call this cognitive presence, the ability to be mentally and emotionally available in the moment. It's linked to better relationships, stronger leadership, and higher emotional intelligence. And it begins with practice, not perfection. You won't stop overthinking overnight, but each time you pause, name, breathe, or write, you build the muscle of clarity. And over time, that clarity becomes your default. Final reflection. Overthinking is not a flaw, it's a habit. And like any habit, it can be reshaped. You don't need to silence your mind. You need to guide it. With breath, with awareness, with rhythm. And the next time your thoughts begin to spiral, remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the space they move through. Stillness is not emptiness, it's power, and it's waiting for you. If this video helped you quiet the noise, even for a few minutes, carry that clarity with you. If you'd like more calm, more clarity, and more quiet power in your life, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the Calm Command. Every week we explore the art of stillness, the science of mindset, and the rituals that restore your inner world. Your mind deserves peace, and your journey toward it starts here.